Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to create a supplier and purchase the item we created. But before that, we will circle back to it. So go to the inventory application. We'll deal with all these products when we cover inventory. I'll go to products and touch on something. So this one view, it's called the tile view. You'll see the products appearing in tiles. So items that have been classified as consumable, meaning you're not tracking their stock, like this African tea, does not have this detail that you're seeing here on hand quantity. It's not appearing here. So that's an easy way of telling them apart. So if I was to close this filter, you'll see products, services, and everything else appearing here. So we can switch to the list view, which is this top right button. You can click on list view. Here you get to see more details on every product. And normally in odoo you see the first 80, so 1 to 80. 1 to 80, then the next, if I was to click on that, we go to the next 81 to 160. So if you wanted to select all products, you will click on that checkbox. This will only select the first page. But if I was to select, tap on this tab that says select 162 or select everything else that is left, because it could be more than that, then that way we will end up selecting everything. Uh, and in the list view, there's something else. When you click here, you can choose what to view and what not to, what to leave out. So let's say if I don't want to see the POS product category, I'll uncheck that, and product category, I'll uncheck. So you'll see more of this disappearing. But if you wanted to see the company, say the barcode, see those other fields will appear here. So back to our product, I'll click on products and say cheeseburger. This is what we created. It is a storable unit, so you see on hand unit the quantities. So I want us to rename this into a hospital product. So I will notice what happens here next to the words cheeseburger. There will be the moment I make that change, there's an option to save and also and discard. If I was to discard, we'll go back to that. The moment I edit this and call it paracetamol, we can save this. The name can be changed at any stage, but we can't, once we change we do a stock move, we can't change the product type. So the moment you purchase or sell this item, we cannot redefine it in the system. So initially it was food and drinks, but now the moment I want you to look at this part. It says general information. There's a tab that is going to appear here the moment I change it to medicament, meaning it's a medicine. So this tab is this is where you can define if it's a tablet, an injection, a capsule. So of course paracetamol. Okay, let's say in this case it's a tablet. Then you can choose the route. Let's say it's oral. So you define it as oral, just for purposes of you can talk of the frequencies, and all this can be defined on this page, but that's beside the point. So let's create a supplier. So when you come to creating a supplier, you come to purchase. The purchase application, this is a historical of what has been purchased, what is to be sent, what is being waited for, and what is late, the average. So this dashboard generally gives you an overview of what's going on here. For you to create a vendor, you come to orders, and there's vendors. And in this case, I think we will work with the local supplier. So I'll say new and say Nila Farmer. Say street, I'll say Tomboya. City, it's Nairobi. The importance of putting these details is because they will appear in the purchase order or the request for quotation. Then Kenya, we just type KE, because this is hard coded. You don't need to create a country. You can't even create a country. Then probably you can put their phone number and other details. So this is the mobile number, and you can also capture their email address for purposes of emailing them, and any other details that you feel are important. So these smart buttons give you a brief history of what it is that's going on with this supplier. So let me save this as well. And if you want to create a generate a vendor statement, you can generate them from using these filters, and you can generate these either as a PDF, or you can generate it as Excel with this configuration. It's an additional feature in Odoo that we have a custom plugin that we've added to Odoo. Um, Another thing is when it comes to this application, no thanks. So there's something else here. You can add. This is Naila fine, but we can add other contacts. So we can add maybe an invoice, a delivery address, or okay, in this case, the best thing say like the contact. Maybe there's a procurement manager, and so we can put his name here. The salutation is a Mr. Maybe it's procurement. So you define everything, because there could be, and you can put capture their phone number and all those other details and save. So this is a supplier who's under. This is a member of staff of Nila Pharma. So if there are more, you can keep adding them here. So they are under the contact list. They'll be tied to this company. This helps you know who to call. You don't have to call someone to give you their contact. And there's also another very important tab, the sales and purchase tab. Just excuse me. So back to Nila. So on the sales tab, this is where you can define the terms. If your payment terms when you're purchasing from them is 30 days, you can define this here. If you're buying in multiple currencies, you can choose specify. Same thing if you're selling them, you can define the payment terms. Maybe it's another 30 days. And I will come to price list, but if you're supplying them, then you can choose to define the prices here. So this is how you create a supplier. And you can save the details here. Then we can now order from them this particular item. So the purchase application, I can come to new and type Nila because it's already in the system. So we will pick Nila Farmer, not Nila with the name of the contact of who's an employee there. Then once you've done this, remember this RFQ, sent, and purchase order. Those statuses are indicated here. So I will come to the product and say paracetamol. Define the quantity. Maybe it's 300 pieces. The unit price is that. So when I click outside, it will do the math, and that is the amount 47,700 and 700. So I can save that. At this stage, we can print it as an RFQ. So we can come to request for quotation. So a request for quotation does not have the quantities indicated. All you will see there is the item, because you do not know how much this person is selling. So you're just asking them to give you a quotation for the item that you have requested for you to make the decision, the buying decision at that point. So this is just a preview. This is another modification we've done. So see, this is a request for quotation, and here it is just the item, expected date, and the units. that you want. So they give you the figure. So you can also define and change to say maybe you're expecting them on another date. Say you are expecting this on 30th. So that will appear. Then another thing you need to do is you can define where it will be delivered to if you have several addresses. But by default, this is the default where all items in this facility are received. So let's say we are confirming this. We've agreed on the price. So this is confirmed. It officially becomes a purchase order. To jump from RFQ to purchase order, and immediately have this button that says receive products, because the purchase policy is you only pay for the items that you have received. So I'll click on receive products. Fine, we've ordered for 300 units, but what if they bring us less? So I'll click on receive products. So at this stage, we can say this is the demand, 300 units. Let's say we received less. Let's say we received 200. So we'll only pay for what we've received and not what we've ordered for. So you can see the stages draft waiting is already jumped to that. So we are receiving from Nila and the destination is WH stock. And as you can see, this code for the warehouse, this is actually the inventory application, but we're accessing it from the purchase application. It's WH in like warehouse in, and it's the 12th item, the 12th receipt into our warehouse, and we're receiving it from Nila. And as I've said, we have indicated the March we have physically counted. Or let's say we received 300, but 100 of them are probably, some are expired, some are damaged. We'll only acknowledge what you received, which is 200, and I'll click on this validate button. The moment I do that, I cannot edit these quantities. And another thing, I'm being asked whether I can create a back order. Back order means, do you want to order for the 100 less that you received? So in this case, let's assume we are okay with the 200, we can work with that. Instead of canceling, which would just take me back to this page, I'll say no back order. And in this case, we will receive this. If I was to print this, I'll come to print, and I can print now the delivery slip, which is actually, we can rename this to goods receipt note. So in this case, it will mean we have received this item, and now the details of what we received are put here. The way you ship out an item, and it's accompanied by a delivery note. So this is the details that you've given here. So the paracetamol, we ordered 300, we received 200. So these are the details of showing the address and who the vendor who was supplying us with, and the date when we received, and the exact time of the shipping. So that aside, we'll now go back to the purchase order because we received 200 units. Instead of going, I'll work with this to navigate. I'll go to P015, which is the purchase order number. So this we should take us to the purchase order. So here it is. So there's another thing that's been created, which is create bill. And if you look here closely, you'll see the quantity you ordered, what you received. And at this side, it says, this point it says bill, it's 0. So when I create, this is on the only point I can create a bill. And when I click on create a bill, now it means we are acknowledging that we owe Nila Farmer the item that we've just received. So here, the most important thing is the date we are acknowledging we owe them. And this is today. So I'll say 23rd. I can select here, but when you're recording the video, this feature is kind of disabled. So I will do that and save in 2025. So we are going to type the date here, and what you'll see at the end of this is a difference in the amount due. It will be the 47. So I've clicked outside that. So it has computed for the 200 that we received instead of the 300, and now the total amount is here. 31,800. It's in draft status. At this point, once you click on confirm, it will be assigned a bill number. So I always encourage you save this manually first in case of anything, and then we can confirm this. So at this point, there is a difference now. If I was to go back to this purchase order, click on the purchase order, you will see received 200 and billed 200, and the vendor bill is here. If you want to go back to how you received the item, you will see on this smart button. But let's go back to the bill. So I'll click on the vendor bill. So we have received it. Now we need to register payment. How do we do this? We just click on register payment, and we select the payment method. Let's say it's cash. And let's assume we are paying less money. So let's click on create payment. The rest will be, the difference will be kept open. So I will pay less an amount. So you see partial payment. That's the ribbon that's appearing here. And when you come down here, you'll see the details. And if I was to click on this I'll see I paid this amount via cash on this date. And I can click on this to view further, and this is the balance due. So let's say we want to clear this balance. So I'll say register payment again. It normally assumes you're paying the full amount. So if you're not paying the full amount, better edit this first. And also the payment date is very important. It picks on the current date. If I was to click on create payment, then it will capture the payment in full, and you will see a breakdown of that. So the ribbon has changed to paid, and if I scroll down here, you'll see a second payment, and the method of payment is also indicated here. So at this point, the most important thing now is to look at the products. So I'll come here, products, and I'll search paracetamol. Paracetamol. When if I just search paras, if I don't type the full name, you can see on hand it says 200 units. And if I was to click here, I'll see on what is on hand, one movement. There are 200 units, but it was just one purchase, or like one movement into the facility. And those are the details. We'll keep track of this as we sell this item. Thank you.